rappelle qu'on a abordé des thèmes divers et variés tels que comment changer le monde du travail de manière à mieux satisfaire nos clients eu égard à la pandémie Covid-19 que nous venons de traverser. Nous avons parlé de comment protéger les employés, le personnel qui est en contact direct avec le client par rapport à des clients violents. Nous avons parlé des skills, des compétences dont les conseillers clients ou dont les équipes en relation avec les clients ont besoin. Il a vraiment été question de diffuser la culture client au sein des organisations. Et puis nous avons parlé de la suite, comment progresser. Ça a été des sujets très très intéressants, abordés de manière très très enrichissante. Et je pars d'ici très satisfait parce que l'expérience client, c'est une priorité pour Orange Cameroun, pour le groupe Orange en général et pour Orange Cameroun en particulier, qui a l'engagement, la détermination de faire de chaque contact avec le client une expérience mémorable pour le client. Ce fut un réel plaisir et je pense que je pars d'ici avec un takeaway package vraiment riche en quick win, en initiative à mettre en œuvre.
Je suis très heureuse de participer aujourd'hui à ce sommet avec ma compagnie, le sommet organisé par le Customer Experience Touchpoint Group et qui a permis à beaucoup d'acteurs dans le Customer Service de se réunir aujourd'hui et d'ainsi célébrer aussi la Customer Service Week qui est célébrée dans le monde. Alors, quelles sont les grandes lignes de ce sommet? Ce que j'ai pu retenir, d'abord de très belles rencontres, de très très bonnes rencontres. Les échanges étaient de très bonne qualité. C'est un sommet où on a pu échanger ensemble en tant que professionnels du service client sur les défis majeurs que nous avons, sur notre contexte, considérant également la pandémie dans laquelle nous sommes. Donc on a pu apprendre des uns et des autres, on a pu se dire ici, voilà sur ce qu'on devrait mettre l'emphase, on a pu être alignés ensemble sur le fait que le client est notre roi. Je répète, le client est notre roi et c'est très important pour chacun d'entre nous de pouvoir rendre nos clients heureux. Et je pense qu'en tant que commitment, on s'est dit aussi qu'il serait important qu'on garde en mémoire que chaque matin, on doit se lever et s'assurer qu'on va faire des actions qui vont rendre nos clients heureux. Donc très 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 belle expérience et à refaire assurément. Et il serait aussi important que tous ces professionnels gardent un contact et puissent mettre quelque chose sur pied ensemble pour pouvoir permettre au Cameroun de pouvoir grandir de plus en plus dans tout ce qui est expérience client. Parce que oui, aujourd'hui, la compétition se joue au niveau de l'expérience et on doit s'assurer que l'expérience client fait partie de la culture de chaque entreprise.
Je voudrais féliciter les organisateurs de ce sommet sur l'expérience client. On connaît que c'est un sommet qui a commencé aux États-Unis depuis quelques décennies et puis au Cameroun, c'est un concept nouveau. Et on a eu la chance vraiment d'avoir des entreprises qui ont envoyé des collaborateurs qui pilotent ce qu'on a d'abord appelé Customer Service, qui est maintenant Customer Experience. Et vraiment, félicitations, on était une centaine et c'est une journée, je peux dire, très très remplie de partage d'expérience, mais surtout aussi d'apprentissage. Bon, ça a été un plaisir pour moi d'animer le dernier panel où j'ai donné une présentation, j'ai fait une présentation sur la place du leadership dans la mise en place de l'expérience client dans les organisations. Et on sait très bien que l'expérience client ne doit pas seulement être peut-être une direction, un département, mais c'est toute une culture. Et on ressort étant très très engagé et les retours sont assez encourageants et vivement que la prochaine édition, mais surtout c'est les grandes recommandations et les résolutions qu'on a eu à prendre. Donc voilà, bravo à cette conférence, mais surtout c'est de se dire que l'expérience client, je voudrais qu'on retienne, est la clé. Donc l'expérience client n'est pas seulement orientée entreprise, c'est orienté même service public, c'est orienté organisation de société civile et c'est un état d'esprit, c'est une façon de vivre. Et les organisations qui vont intégrer cette démarche sont les organisations qui seront hyper performantes et qui vont inscrire leur action dans la durée. Donc voilà, approprions-nous l'expérience client, mettons le client au centre de notre stratégie, ayons l'empathie, ayons l'intelligence émotionnelle, mais surtout faisons tout et tout pour rendre le client heureux. Et le premier client d'une organisation, c'est d'abord les employés. Et ça a été aussi une très belle leçon. Comment on recrute, qui on recrute, quel est le profil de ceux qui sont en front line. Mais au-delà des front line staff, c'est le top, le leadership. Est-ce que nous-mêmes nous respectons nos collaborateurs? Comment nous parlons à nos collaborateurs? Comment nous traitons nos collaborateurs? C'est comme ça qu'en retour, eux, ils vont aussi traiter le client. Et si le client est véritablement roi, alors il est important de rendre nos employés heureux. S'ils sont heureux, alors les clients seront heureux. Et j'ai aimé le concept de Chief Happiness Officer. Donc, on est déjà au-delà de la satisfaction du client, c'est de rendre le client vraiment heureux.
It's a pleasure to have been part of this organization. First of all, I want to thank Customer Experience Touchpoints Group for the honor they gave to Union Bank of Cameroon to be part of this occasion and to be able to give the keynote address. The first thing that we emphasized on was the fact that in Africa we're endowed with a lot of resources, natural and man-made. But there is a missing link, which is quality customer services in every touch point, in every domain that we operate, whether it's in the private sector or in the public sector. And as they said, we have three components about it: the public sector, the civil society, and the corporate world. These three circles have to touch each other for us to give satisfactory services in our community.
Customer service or customer experience is becoming one of the instruments or technique used for competition. So competition is no longer based on the goods, on the quality of goods. And why is it so? Because of the issue of technology. With technology now, the consumer knows that he's in control of everything. A customer can sit here in Cameroon and check the price of a product in America, and he knows the price in Cameroon. He knows the quality of that product, and so a Cameroonian company can't tell him that I'm going to reduce price because he has all the information. In fact, you can give your product to a Chinese guy, he enters into One Health, and after 5 minutes, he comes back with two products and asks you to choose your own from there. And you are confused. You take the two products, you look there, and you can identify your own. In Abuja, somebody can just take the same thing, enter in his house, not even in the company. He enters in his house, in his room. After some 5 minutes, as the guy is coming back, he says, "Sir, can you choose your product from here?" You hold it, and you can choose your product. Because of this, competition now has to change direction. Because of this, the customer department is no longer doing what they were supposed to do. The customer department, if it does not take time, it will hurt rather than helping the organization. Why? Because the needs of the people are changing. If you had recruited a customer agent in the 80s and he was supplying the needs in the 80s, today those needs are no longer the same needs. So you need to train them to be able to adapt to the new needs. And I want to remind you that there is no organization that can function without supplying the needs. If you are the government, you need to supply the needs of the citizens. They have a need, and you must know their needs. And that's why when you want to open a hospital somewhere, there was one time in the Northwest, I opened a cardiac hospital, and the people are complaining that is not what we need. We have many people suffering from different types of diseases, and how many people are suffering from cardiac. So we need to know the needs of the people. If you are a hospital, you must understand that your functioning is to supply the needs of your patient. If you are a school, your functioning is to supply the needs of the parent and the pupils of your school. So you must understand these needs that are changing. What are the skills therefore that you need to be able to understand these needs? First, I want all the CEOs in this hall, all the customer experience professional and expert, to understand the distinction that exists between customer core needs and customer auxiliary need. Customer core need is what the customer comes to your enterprise to get. What is he thinking to get? Whereas customer auxiliary needs, it is how he is expecting to get what he wants to get. These are two different things. For instance, you are sick, you go to the hospital. Your objective is to get well. That's a core need. If you have malaria, you want they should do you primo, a test. After a test, segundo, they should give you drips or whatsoever. Thirdly and finally, you go back home feeling happy, feeling well. That's why you went to the hospital. Then, paradoxically, when somebody leaves the hospital is well and they ask you, rate me that hospital, you will not rate the hospital based on core services. You will rate them based on auxiliary. How? When I was treated, one nurse looked at me and was not smiling. In fact, the hospital was dirty. But he's well. He went there to get well. He's well. But now, because the hospital is dirty, he's not feeling comfortable. I remember one time in one communication company that was like holiday, where I was talking with an agent, that's 2 weeks ago. After talking, the person ended by saying, please sir, if they ask you to rate me, what I asked is soft. If they ask you to rate me, sir, give me 9 or 10. Because 8 is not the pass. And I asked myself, oh, yes, you supply what I wanted. But what you are saying is not the right thing. You would have asked me that, sir, if you want to judge me or evaluate me, say, what will you give me? Don't tell me that if they call you, say this. You see, that one was now the auxiliary need. And when they called me to rate the candidate, who rate her well, though she supplied my core need, she didn't meet up my expectation of the auxiliary need. The core need are the technical skill that most organizations focus on. The auxiliary need, they don't care about this. So there must be a distinction between supplying auxiliary needs and the core need. They must go together. And the last thing, which is very important, to be technical and competent when it comes to customer experience, is to understand that in your job description as CEO, you must seek for people that can supply this core need. And what must you be checking? There's an article that we are writing at Touchpoint, and I think that when the article will be ready, we'll be giving out to you. We read something in psychology that there are 4 types of intelligence. The first type of intelligence is 4 types of quotient. The first one is what they call intelligent quotient. And this intelligent quotient simply measures the capacity for someone to solve math, to retain things, and give them back when needed. The second one is what they call emotional intelligence. If you get it very well when you make your CV or job description, you're going to add this in there. The second one is what is referred to as emotional intelligence. To be able to make peace with those who are working around you. To make peace with those who are around you. And the third one is what they call social intelligence. To be able to create friends and maintain this friendship for a very long time. The last one is adversity quotient. The capacity to go out of the problem without losing your mind. We now borrow this and brought it into the customer experience sector. And we now say, oh, interesting. If CEO can use this, such as the first one, which was referred in psychology as intelligent quotient. Now, our intelligent quotient now in the customer service is to measure if the frontline staff understand the product. Do you know the product you want to sell? Can you communicate it to the customer very well so that you can understand? If you can do that, it means that you have the technical skill, and that's what most organizations do. The technical skill is not the most important thing. We move now to the next one, which is referred to as the emotional skill. In the emotional skill, we are looking on how this frontline personnel or staff is able to manage. What is his capacity to be able to discuss with those who are working around him? Is he honest? Is he professional? Because you can communicate your product very well, but you don't respect your boss. You are not professional. If you don't come to work on time, you are not professional. So this thing must be taken into consideration when you do our recruitment of sales staff or customer frontline personnel. The next one is what I call the social quotient. The social quotient now talks about how does the frontline staff maintain friendship with the customer by smiling, as she was rightly saying. It is about the feeling of the customer. It's no longer about the product, the price, and the place, but it's now about the feeling. How does he feel? When he comes, you ask him about his family. Go out of the normal professional aspect and ask him personal questions that concern him. Record to him your next transaction or your last transaction and call him by name. You develop something special. And the last one, that's why I end, is about the last aspect of quotient is the adversity quotient. Adversity quotient now is to measure the capacity of a frontline manager to be able to answer a difficult and hostile client in such a way that the guy will still remain in the company, no matter how difficult he was. For instance, the guy will remove a gun. If you are capable to relate with him in such a way that he won't go anywhere, it means that you can stand adversity. And that's when we know if a frontline staff is really a frontline staff. So this index, in the article that we will be publishing soon, this index will permit organizations to be able to judge a frontline staff, whether he has the capacity, whether he has the skills, whether he has the confidence.